Good evening, folks. I'm Baroque, and welcome to the Xbox January Direct in 2025. We're going to do a bit of a watch-along. I managed to get home in time where I figured I'd catch this, so I thought, why not? Let's do a good old watch-along. I'm quickly just going to nip downstairs, get myself a cup of tea as we get ready and set up here. I'm just going to bob that into the chat. Give me a moment. And once this direct is done, I'll be jumping over to do some Remnant 2 and get stuck into that boss rush mode. So I'll be back with you in a few minutes. See what Xbox has to offer. Back soon. And when we're back with moments to spare, good God. Day 1 with Game Pass. I'm really excited to see stuff about Doom. I'm eager to see more about Expedition 33 because that really piqued my interest. The other game whose name topped my head, unsure about, need to see more. And then the mystery game is meant to be an old franchise from Japan coming back, so we will see. Very curious as to what it might be. I do like that approach. I'd much rather actually having a chat on with some devs than it just being thrown out, I suppose. A peek behind the curtain, even if it is manufactured, I think is still useful. Point to the camera. Hey. Go all in with the subtitles, it's fine. I just tend to have a bomb. Oh, we're starting with a mystery first, are we? Or is this an Xbox overview? The big reveal. Oh, people speculated it might be Ninja Gaiden coming back. There was the side-scroller announced earlier on. Summer Games Fest, not Summer Games Fest, the Game Awards. I love the second game. Enjoyed the first, it was a little tough. Third was like, eh. But again, the second one I replayed multiple times. I love that game.
Several years ago, the Dark Dragon, youngest of the divine dragon gods, wreaked havoc across the world. The plot was ultimately thwarted through the efforts of a sole ninja.
Yep, that's Ninja Gaiden.
The Dark Dragon's husk remained, and from this husk fell an endless downpour of cursed rain. The abandoned Tokyo continues its struggle against chaos to this day.
Infiltrated the facility. Commencing mission.
I feel like if that was Hayabusa... Oh, with Platinum. Feels a little young for Hayabusa. I wonder if we've changed protagonist. Unless he's just, you know, eternally young protagonist. But yeah, this looks pretty Ninja Gaiden. We've gone back to the very visceral, bloody mess that was too, thankfully. There's a Platinum going, there's a vibe of Metal Gear Rising in here. Bit of revengeance going on.
Hayabusa.
Whatever your clan is,
There he is.
It ends here.
Sounds like that first protagonist maybe has some beef with old Ryu here.
So you've come, Raven.
Yep.
Back off, Hayabusa. I will execute my mission.
Like a Devil May Cry 4 thing going on.
世界中の町人の皆さん、 10年以上大変お待たせしました。
10 years since
最
free.
強の忍者
Blimey.
となり容赦なく襲い来る敵に挑むハイスピードアクション忍者ガイデンのナンバリング最新作として忍者ガイデン4を発表させていただきました。本作はプラチナゲームズさんとの協業で開発を
Yeah,
進
the
め
fact
て
they've
いま
roped
す。
in Platinum's really interesting because Platinum, for the most part, just make
プラチナゲームズ
bangers.
さんのアクションゲームというジャンルにおける
Especially for this
実績
kind of
は
game.
言うまでもなく、ベヨネッタやニアオートマタなど素晴らしいアクションタイトルを生み出してこられました。
Beautiful mix, to be fair.
忍者ガイデン4というタイトルを10年以上の時を超えて新たに皆様にお届けするにあたり、より多くの方に新鮮な気持ちでプレイしていただけるよう、新たな世界を新主人公であるもう一人の町人
It's like they went with the thing where
形で制作する
can't
ことに
just
し
go
ました。
straight up new protagonist. Exactly what Devil May Cry did. You get your Nero and your Dante, so we've got this
先ほ
new
どご覧
kid
いただいた
Andrew.
映像の中で竜ハヤブサも登場しておりましたが、彼は今回も物語に密接に関わってきます。
Feels like it'd be
なぜ
passing
ヤ
the
クモと戦う
reins
こ
for
と
the
になっ
next
たの
game.
か、竜ハヤブサが
Assuming
戦
that it
う
does
目
well.
的は何なのか、本作の物語の中で展開していきます。
任務は必ず成し遂げる。邪魔をするな。
物語は黒竜がもたらした正気の雨によって荒廃した首都東京
It's
が
been so
舞
long,
台
I
となってい
cannot
ます。
remember how 3 ended up. No idea where that
この
story
雨は
winded up.
黒竜がまだ生きている証であり、雨が止まない限り東京に安寧は訪れません。
The Dark Eyes.
今作の
It
新
does
主
have a
人公であり、
a vibe from
ハヤブサ
Platinum.
と
Like
強い
I've seen some
カラス
Metal
一
Gear
門に
Rising
所
in
属す
here,
るヤクモが首都東京
but
で
it's much
黒竜を
more
倒し
Ninja Gaiden
この世界
2 than
を
it
晴ら
is
すため
3, which is
戦いに身を
good.
投じます。
In silly bloody action
これま
again.
で忍者ガイデンシリーズで描かれてきたダークでハードな世界観は継承し、そこにさらに危機を感じさせる要素として呪いやより混沌とした景観のデザインを取り入れています。ステージプレイ中に街が呪いの影響を受け、ビルは崩れ、
So we're on rails and sliding a
に
lot.
陥れることでしょう。舞台となる東京はとある出来事によって街全体が崩
How
壊し、
dangerous will
マ
it
ブテ
be?
やヤクモと敵対する勢力がひしめき合う状態に
I
なって
remember in last year if there were some really jammy platforming bits.
ように感じられるはずです。
And it's been so long. And of 2, I can mainly just remember some of the
前
bosses,
作よ
like
り
that werewolf with
立体
4 arms
的に
and a
重度の
scythe.
危険に満ちたステージを忍具やシリーズおなじみの体術など忍者アクションを駆使して乗り越えていくことになります。
Okay, some bigger
レール
combat
アクション
arenas.
スイングアクションなどのダイナミックで爽快なシチュエーションを多く追加しました。これら以外にも様々なシチュエーションやチャレンジ、隠されたアイテムなどを用意しており、
Oh
ステー
no.
ジが進むごとに上がっていくテンションにも驚いていただけると思います。
I'm just happy to see Ryu back. And if you're going to swap over to a new protagonist, you needed to at least bring the first one back.
竜ハヤブサに次ぐ新たな町人です。彼にはまだ若さも残っていますが、カラス一門を背負う天才忍者でもあり、忍者ガイデンシリーズにおける忍者の頂点、竜と肩を並べる次世代の町人たり得る人物としてデザインしています。
And we'll have to see over the course of the game if he gets to that point.
そんなヤクモの前に
Ryu's character design and just his armor
荒れ果
setup
てた
just
東京の治安
pretty
維持組織
iconic.
であり、
This
黒竜
dude
の
looks
国民を守
pretty,
る竜神島や
I know,
現世に
generic
蔓延する
anime for lack of a
人が
better
上がる
term.
者妖魔
Hey,
そして
it
も
was
ち
a
ろん
solid werewolf
シリー
boss
ズ
by
おなじみ
Dark
の
Eyes. It was
魔
great.
人も登場します。また現
Some
時点では
sci-fi,
公
got
開してい
some
ませんが
demons.
新たなキャラクターやシリーズファンの方に喜んでいただける人物も登場しますの
Evening
で
Cupid.
続
Hope you're
報
doing
に
well,
ご期待
bub.
ください。
従来のシリーズからバトルスピードをさらに加速
Man,
さ
it
せ、
makes me want to play the
目に
second
も
game
止まら
again.
ぬスピードで敵との攻防を繰り広げることができます。
I wonder if we'll be changing
さらに
weapons though.
ヤクモが使える新要素、
That's what I liked about
鉄説
2. You
忍術
could go at it
ヌエの
from
型を
so
駆使
many
したダ
ways.
イナミックな攻
It
撃
looks
に
like
よ
there's
っ
a
て
few
これまでから多く
weapons flowing out with
使用した
combos, but I can't tell if it's just that great sword thing he's got going on.
ヌエの型では
Which is
これ
absurd.
までの忍者ガイデンにはない広範囲かつ一撃必殺の攻撃となっており、多勢に無勢の状態が長く続く戦況を一気に覆すことができます。もちろん1対1の戦闘における比率も健在です。プレイヤー同様、敵もガードや回避をしてくるため、緊張感のあるフェアな戦闘を味わうことができます。
Because maybe they're
ヌエの
taking a
型
bit
によ
of
って
Soul's inspiration.
忍者ガイデンのアクションの
Dude,
味わいに
Platinum did some
さらな
really
る進化
awesome
を
boss
感じられ
fights
る
in
かと思います。
Bayonetta and in Metal Gear.
特にアクションに関しては手触り、バランス調整など 細部にわたり日々議論させていただき、会社の垣根を越えた感じていただけると思います。
I mean, like Nero and Dante, you want them to feel different. No! What are we
例えば
buffering for?
カラス、ヌエ、2つの型があるという点が
It's
ヤ
okay,
クモ
we're good.
の大きな特徴ですが、それらが持つ多彩な性能のアクションを用い
Oh,
て、
OBS went off as well for a moment,
状
thank
況
God.
ごとに使い分ける攻略の深みや、
Not exactly Dark Eyes.
熱脚、絶技などを絡めた抑揚あるスピーディーな攻防などは、もちろんヤクモでも健在です。
ヤクモと竜ハヤブサはそれぞれがかなり
I'm more excited to be Hayabusa, I'm not gonna lie.
さまざまな戦闘バリエーションを楽しむ
Oh,
こ
we
と
had
が
that
で
move
き
before.
るようになっています。
Ridiculous
ヤクモ
suplex.
そして竜ハヤブサの双方で飛燕、伊豆直しなどシリーズおなじみのアクションも駆使しつつ新アクションを織り交ぜた新しい忍者外伝にご期待ください。
Yeah, I didn't believe the rumors that had been Ninja Gaiden after they had the announcement in December, but sure, happy to see it back.
さらに我々プラチナゲームズの特徴であるスピーディーなア
The
クション
Platinum
やダイ
Games
ナミックな演出を
getting
取り入れ
involved is the most
進化
surprising
した正
part.
当続編を作り上げるべく総力を挙げて開発を進めております。
I wonder how much of the
容赦ない敵
workload's
とのいかなる
Team
攻防に
Ninja and how
も
much is
フェアに
Platinum.
戦える手触りをヤクモで
What
も目
else
指
are
してい
Team
ます。
Ninja doing these
皆
days?
様に進化した忍者外伝を触っていただける日を楽しみにしています。
シリーズファンはもちろんのこと忍者外伝を初めてプレイする方でも存分に楽しめる作品になっておりますのでぜひ発売をお待ちください。
長年にわたってプラチナゲームズさんと共にまさに忍者のように潜んで忍者ガイデン4の開発を進めてきましたが、ついに発表することができて非常に嬉しく思います。
The release date?
2025年秋に本作を皆様にお届けできるのを楽しみにしています
All this year?
続報にもぜひご期待ください。
Okay. Game Pass, Xbox, PC, and PlayStation 5.
さて本日お伝えしたい発表はそれだけではありません。
He's in
こちらを
Tekken.
ご覧ください。
Remasters of the first three? Or just two? Oh, that's multi-weapons, that's feeling two. It's that scythe!
My path leads through the land of the dead.
Remember that dude?
And thus the sun sets on
Yes, werewolf guy, look at him!
the bloodline.
That dude I remember as well. It was a bullshit boss fight.
Go back to hell.
All paths before me are cruel and arduous. Our time has come.
It is two. Oh, because they did that for the very first game,
忍者ガイデ
yonks
ン2のオ
ago.
リジナル版は2008年に
Oh,
Xbox
I'm actually
360
pretty
で
hyped
発
for
売
this.
しバイオレンスな表現とハイスピードなバトルを皆
It
様
was-
に
it
お
was
楽
the
しみい
best
ただ
of
い
them.
た作品です。今作忍者ガイデン2ブラックではオリジナル版の表現に立ち戻りアンリアルエンジン5を用いてグラフィックを大幅に刷新、忍者ガイデン2の完全版と
Also,
し
they
て
put
開
it to
発いたしまし
Unreal
た。綺麗なグラフィックでお楽しみいただけるのは
Exactly,
もちろん
Dark Eye, exactly. It was a
リュウハヤブさん
bullshit
に加え
lightning grab.
あやね、もみじ、レイチェルもプレイブルキャラクターとして登場します。
No, it'll just be
そして
real, I
本
think.
作は本日コンソール、PC、そして
Today?
Xbox ゲームパスでこの後すぐに
Oh,
発売となります。忍者ガイデンシリーズを長年応援いただいている皆様はもちろんのこと、本日忍者ガイデンを知っていただいた皆様も忍者ガイデン4の発売前にぜひ本作をお
Right,
楽
so
しみ
we
ください。
putting this out? Or is it just going to be on the Xbox store?
今年はチーム忍者創立30周年の節目であり、本日発表させていただいた忍者ガイデン4を含め2025年は忍者の年、イヤーオブザ忍者となります。ぜひ忍者ガイデンシリーズの展開にご注目ください。本日はありがとうございました。
Doesn't look like it's on, unless... I'm going quickly, Steam. Just let me see. I can't remember the name of this one off the top of my head. Interesting looking game. It's probably my least anticipated of the bunch, but I'm eager to see more.
Hi, and welcome to Compulsion Games here in Montreal, Canada. At our studio, we care about world building.
There is a package
We
for
treat
all
the
3
setting
Ninja
almost like a
Gaidens
character
for
of its
£40 for a lot of them.
From the magical noir of contrast to the alternate
I'll check
history
again
we
later
have
this
to view,
evening at weekend.
We draw inspiration from the landscape to shape mood, drama, and intrigue. For South of Midnight, our
That was
third-person
it.
action-adventure game, the story and characters bring a folkloric Deep South to life. This gave us a chance to explore Southern
All the
Gothic
footage they've
themes with a
shown
dark
for this has had a
fantasy twist.
real funky frame rate.
So while our protagonist
But the
Hazel is at
world
the
itself
forefront
looks
of our
really
story,
cool.
It's the macabre elements and larger-than-life creatures that will leave a mark on her journey and growth.
You know what I mean? Look, it's a little jittery.
It is really picking up out there. Did you pack everything?
Mama, this ain't my first hurricane. I know what to do.
As long as you didn't forget the
Flashlights and batteries.
Oh, shoot, we got 5 minutes. Let's go.
Won't be rushed if you didn't.
Don't mumble. Speak on it.
I said we wouldn't be rushed if you didn't waste all that time at the shelter.
Now, you want to bring this up right now.
I'm just saying.
Hazel, please.
We might need some help. I might need some help. While you're out helping everybody else.
Hazel!
Not the team hug! Oh.
Hazel may start her journey as a typical 19-year-old, but disastrous events will push her into a darkly magical world where she'll learn who she really is and how to tap into weaving, an ancient magical power that redefines her trajectory in life.
The land itself chooses Hazel as a weaver.
Can we get some hands-on about that? I don't know if it's just an
Someone who
artistic
can see
thing that's not
beyond
showing
the
well in the
surface
trailers.
And tap into a deeper reality, the grand tapestry. Weavers can see the fabric binding our world, connecting people, nature, and echoes of the past.
Keep those hands to yourself.
Hazel can perceive both the mystical strands and stigmas in the world. Through her newfound power, she reweaves these stigmas and mends the afflicted creatures she encounters.
As Hazel discovers her power, the world gradually shifts into the surreal, revealing that creatures from the old folktales actually exist.
You up here, my salvation.
Among them is Little Catfish, the storyteller who becomes both the guide and companion to Hazel across the game.
It ain't every day I hear about a new weaver such as yourself. Would you kindly do your weaver thing and help me down?
Meeting Catfish marks the true beginning of
Ah, it certainly seems a lot less
All of
bland than
Hazel's
Forspoken
arsenal
did.
and powers are designed around textile crafting and traditional spinning wheels. Her weapons include a spindle, 2 weaving hooks, and a distaff. Her magic abilities manifest with supernatural lace-like patterns, blending the traditional craft with mystical elements. Hazel engages with the world through a variety of movement abilities. Those abilities also help Hazel progress on a journey.
As her journey unfolds,
I mean, maybe
Hazel
Dark
will
Eyes.
master
Maybe.
new weaving abilities.
In
Using
the
them
name.
to traverse the world, conjure objects,
This is looking a bit smoother.
and confront adversaries.
Combat
It's
is
a
about
cutscene thing?
understanding and adapting to different enemy archetypes known as Aints. The manifestations of corruption Hazel encounters.
Kind of like Remnant
These
2's
Aints
route,
trap Hazel
but
in
more
combat until she unravels them,
bulbous.
destroying them in the process.
Each Aint has its own unique moveset, strengths, and weaknesses that you'll need to learn and adapt to. For example, the slug burrows on the ground and unleashes devastating strikes from afar, while the Ravager
Ugh.
closes the distance with chilling speed. Hazel can counter these threats with agile melee abilities to execute powerful
Look how
combos,
she dodges around.
jump attacks, and charge attacks. But close combat is risky and can backfire because Aints have powerful defensive abilities. Mastering your magical skills becomes the key to gaining the upper hand in combat.
It's a really cool
Push,
art style.
pull,
It's
and
just
weave
it's clearly
are some of the
doing
spells at your
something.
disposal that give you
to
a
the frame
tactical
rate.
advantage during a fight.
And we'll have
Timing
to see
is
hands-on.
everything. Pull distant enemies close to start melee combos, push them back to interrupt and stun their attack. Then press the advantage with follow-up strikes. Spells interact uniquely
That kind of
with
thing you'd want
each
like a
enemy
dash-in
type,
move.
creating dynamic combat scenarios, especially when facing multiple types of opponents at the same time. Once near death, enemies can be unraveled.
Might have been a bit of a miss to show this directly after Ninja Gaiden doing this a lot faster. Obviously it's very different, but
reducing ability cooldowns.
this might have been worth putting either after the JRPG or after Doom.
Readiness and keep on chaining her abilities. As Hazel progresses in the game, she unlocks new moves and improved abilities, and you'll have to decide which areas to prioritize.
Floofs?
The upgrades will change.
You're spending floofs?
Like
My god.
Area of effect attacks.
Right, that's giving it like 2 points.
Or refining push and pull skills to improve precision and make them feel more rewarding. The combat system is fast and responsive, built around chaining attacks, landing precise strikes, and unraveling enemies.
You mind if I take a look around?
You can see every place old Molly terrorized and more. Now for the low, low price of $1.
In Hazel's search for her mother, you'll explore multiple regions, each ruled by a mythical creature with their own Southern Gothic history. You'll gradually uncover the backstories of these beings, once human or animal, who were transformed by tragedy.
Zero
Their
floofs.
secrets waiting to be discovered.
Hoard all the floofs.
As a weaver, Hazel heals these creatures by collecting fragments of haunted memories. We call these echoes, which reveal each creature's past. Hazel must experience these echoes before she can mend them.
Building up each boss in a way.
What kind of person would do that to someone?
We design each region to reflect the creature that's been doomed to wander it. From the atmospheric environment to unique music themes composed for each one. While not all encounters lead to direct combat, Hazel will need to face mythical creatures in epic confrontation before she can heal them. Our boss encounters and gameplay sequences also reflects the uniqueness of each creature, with distinct mechanics that center around a specific thematic. These encounters feature multiple phases that ramp up in complexity. As the encounters progress, the musical theme builds up, cranking the tension.
I love the whole vibe it's got going for it. We're just gonna have to see how it all comes together.
Tom or hugging Molly.
Elkins,
Each of
please.
these larger-than-life creatures is inspired by Southern folklore and lead to climactic battles.
Evening, Screet.
We got a long
And I, Cupid, does. You'll most often see him in the
South
morning
of
WoW
Midnight
streams.
unfolds as a hero's journey, and as Hazel, you'll travel through a tapestry of Southern-inspired landscapes.
Can you see it again there? The frame rate
From
just kind of...
abysmal swamps to flooded farmlands to the Appalachian peaks. In our magical South, decaying buildings reclaimed by nature stand moments away from a hungry Rugal. And as Hazel delves deeper, reality bends ever more toward the fantastical.
The history, landscape, and folklore of the American
Hope
Deep
you're
South
doing all
fill our
right, bub.
world,
Got
and
yourself
our
a
team
hot
has
beverage,
infused
I'd
the
hope.
game with thoughtful details and environmental storytelling,
There's
like our
supping ours
bottle
on this
trees
end.
and Haint Blue porches, which are said to ward off evil spirits. The weight of the past emerges as central themes, which you can see through old abandoned buildings and businesses struggling to survive. As you explore, you'll meet locals who stayed behind even in the face of a hurricane.
So I'm the last person left here. All those damn hates.
Haunted eyes.
This part of the river's filthy with them.
Artistically, we're staying true to our Moody Compulsion signature style. But this time, we're using a handcrafted approach inspired by stop-motion animation, which allows our team to bring a distinct personality and tone into every prop and character.
I mean, that might make sense why the frame rate feels a little
Because this folklore
funky.
is open to visual interpretation, we embrace the freedom to reimagine these creatures and their stories, to adapt how they look, and to craft our own version of a fantastical Deep South.
It certainly is unique. Gotta give it that. Certainly one I want to wait for some reviews for.
At Compulsion Games, we love to craft around central themes. We're lucky to have talent across all our disciplines that collaborate to give South of Midnight such a unique personality. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into South of Midnight.
Voice
We're
actor
thrilled
just
to
chuckling
announce
into
that
the
game
mic.
will launch on April 8th, and pre-orders are now available on Xbox and Steam.
April 8th's pretty close. And definitely a wait and see. Who's next then? Ninja Gaiden, by the way. Super hype about. Okay, so this one's like... I think this was Expedition 33? I could be wrong. This might be something else entirely. Oh no, this sounds familiar. And this looked like a very Western
everyone.
approach to a
We are
JRPG.
Sunfall Interactive, and welcome to our manor. We are a small studio based in Montpellier, France, working on our first game, Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
This
It's a
game's
turn-based RPG
fascinating.
set in a fantasy version of late 19th century Belle Epoque France.
Here we are.
Our grand adventure in game development actually started as a solo passion project. I wanted to create something like the JRPGs with turn-based combat I grew up with and loved, but that fully leveraged the latest tech, refreshed the genre with new features, and took place in a compelling world. I knew I needed help to realize my dream.
Yeah, it's like there's a
First, I turned
countdown,
to a programmer
and every year anyone older than that number just
Joe and I started
dies.
trading ideas right away.
And now it's
and
33
quickly
the
turned into
age.
trading files back and forth. Soon, I was creating the first prototypes of the reactive turn-based system,
Give me that plastic.
combining real-time offense and defense element and a cinematic battle camera system. Things really clicked when we tested the first version of those features. We felt we had something both challenging and fun.
As Tom and I went back and forth and iterated on game elements, a vision started to come together, and I shared it with an old friend from university.
Guillaume and I are both passionate gamers, and when he described the project, I quit my job the following week and joined the team without hesitation.
Good God.
Because I believe that in video games, success always starts with a strong creative vision.
I mean, fair play
And
to 'em.
We had that, defined by 3 core elements. A story with great emotional depth, gameplay that innovates on the classics.
Everything about the UI and how they've got it all set up and
a
linking
world
together
that
is just
completely original,
really cool.
beautiful, and immersive. We
Runic
founded Sunfall
storybook.
Interactive on these tenets.
So
A
that anyone
group
who's
of
played
friends
Persona will
with
be
a
like,
shared
I get you.
vision and the drive to make something great.
This too is your legacy.
Core to every great RPG is a compelling story. And Guillaume and I spent 4 years intensively developing and refining ours. And that started with the hook. 67 years ago, a massive slumbering paintress and a monolith appeared with no warning. Once a year, the paintress wakes and paints a number on her monolith, and everyone who has passed that age is erased. Every year that number ticks
Fascinating
down,
idea.
and everyone dies younger and younger. Expeditions depart to kill the paintress, determined to fight until their final breath, but none have ever returned. Our story follows Expedition 33.
Expeditioners, we honor your dedication.
Guillaume and I knew early on that we didn't want to focus on good versus evil. What's interesting to us are people who, yes, are flawed, but who care deeply about each other. And conflicts arise because they have different perspectives on what needs to be done.
I'm sorry about earlier.
We wanted our story to feel dark and mature, with adult characters who feel like real people with real experiences.
I'm always missing something that everyone else just gets.
The heart of the story is about overcoming an existential threat.
A lot going on in facial
while struggling
animation.
with loss and grief. And it's rooted in the characters' relationships, both to each other and to themselves.
What are we gonna do, huh? Tell me. What are we gonna do?
In a world like this, how does one stay hopeful or make peace with their fate? What duty do we owe to each other or to ourselves? These questions are deeply personal to me, and they permeate the story behind the story.
Know that Lumiere fights with you. Tomorrow comes Expedition 33.
The characters all have their own motivations and perspectives. Gustave and Lune are deeply invested in the expedition, even if they fight all the time. To them, the mission is tied not only to their family, it's central to their identity and purpose.
Protocol doesn't cover every contingency. You know that.
There'd be a big jump from this to Doom, by the way.
Whose darkest days have already happened.
What are the stars whispering to you? Actually, I'm the one whispering to them. It's something my dad and I used to do.
And Maëlle, who cares more about really living her life, not just living longer.
Gustave, are you real?
It's not all dark, though. Along the way, they meet various colorful
Not
NPCs
dark, there's
and
dangerous
recruit
monsters.
Monoko, who is a friendly but kinda bloodthirsty philosopher. and a fully playable character. He has a really cool battle mechanic where he can turn into the enemies he defeats.
What are you doing?
Waves, Screed.
Foot! Aha!
Okay, strange.
He's very, very old.
Yeti guy.
He
What?
has seen many expeditions come and go. He is a Gestrol, which are a group of playful beings who view battle as a form of meditation.
Oh.
They're fun and sort of ridiculous. You'll
But
meet
it's not just
Monoko
peoples.
and many other Gestrals across the game.
Are they all like
And
big
of
characters
course,
though, or
there
is there like a
Estia,
Pokemon thing going on?
who is one of the
They're all
oldest
named, so.
and lore-wise the most powerful creatures in the verse.
Eskia is that powerful?
He will be your mount and help you travel to secret corners
The
of
mount.
the world. And if
What?
you bring him back his special stones, you can unlock abilities for him to access new areas of the world and find exciting secrets.
Oh, surprisingly endearing.
Everyone has their own reason for joining the expedition, and each of them has their own story arc and resolution that we think players will really connect with.
In addition to a strong narrative, we had a clear vision for our own take on the genre's core gameplay. Our reactive turn-based system takes the traditional turn-based battle mechanic we love and adds real-time reaction.
In a game,
which
make
gives
quick
combat
time
greater
events work
intensity
again.
and dynamism. During enemy turns,
Not since
you can
Azura's
negate all
Wrath.
damage by dodging or parrying at the right time. The balancing
Feels like
turn-based
everything
with
has a
real-time
lot of
mechanics
impact.
took a long time to get right. During initial playtests, turn-based players often found the real-time elements too hard. Some of us are still traumatized by enemies from back then. We've done a lot of rebalancing since, and with a lot of iteration, we ultimately came up with a formula that we're proud of. Players who are good at real-time can take more risks, and others can counterbalance with items and strategies.
So it's not necessarily
A big
forcing you
part
into
of that formula lies in the many ways you can customize your
more
character.
levels and skills and more stuffs.
We spend a lot of time designing each character's unique mechanics and their custom skill trees. Our philosophy is making every type of playstyle viable so that everyone can have fun with how they play the game.
Yeah, Paper Mario is a
Each
pretty
character
good
has a
pull for
unique
that.
mechanic.
Aye.
Mail switches between
Press A to
stances
land
which
on
can
Goomba perfectly.
ultimately boost defense or power. I personally like to make Mal the protector of the group, but I'm pretty much the only one at the studio who plays her that way. Most people play her as a glass cannon with Gustav's complementary skills. The characters can also equip hundreds
Holy
of passive
God.
effects, which in our game are called Lumina.
That's a
Every
lot.
character has more than 20 unique skills in the skill tree and hundreds of passive effects. They can gain through Lumina and weapons.
I'm overwhelmed.
So there are a ton of builds and playstyle to explore.
It's gonna be
Needless to
deep.
say, we can't wait to see how you choose to play and what kinds of build you'll design that we probably never even imagined.
Can I do something great sword paladin-esque with lightning is always the question.
Our story is set in the French fantasy world,
You never know.
and I was really excited to design something unique. Every level has its own color and texture identity. For example, the Gestral Village is an early area in the game where players can enjoy a fun break. We wanted something that feels chaotic, grungy, and toy-like. It's basically a bazaar. Everything's disorganized, chaos everywhere, huts are unsafe, built without
Dancing
much
pot
thought.
fellas.
It's a place where anyone could fight you at any point, which is pretty much what the Gestrals are like. The Gestral Village is hidden inside the ancient sanctuary. The ideas here were forest, labyrinth, and sentinels. I designed it as a vibrant place, like an old graveyard of Gestrals, or forgotten wooden toys in a box, with two main colors, red and white. I wanted to make it feel cozy, hidden from danger, with traps and labyrinths in case enemies get in. Same process with the characters. Monoko came in a single concept. I thought of a monkey-like body, white fur with a black and red flat mask.
Ladies, could I?
Ow!
Definitely a Gestral.
For Escape, we needed a cuddly companion to take us around the world. I thought instantly of a giant inflatable balloon and old Victorian pillows with many intricate motifs. We start with the core themes
I mean,
and ideas.
it's more than
and
a
the visuals
skyship or a
grow
horse, isn't it?
organically from there.
From the very start of the project, there was one thing that we absolutely wanted to bring back from older JRPGs. A feature we really loved, but is very rare these days. a completely 3D and navigable world map. Yes, we've got a world map. And it was a real challenge to create, both artistically and technically. And it ended up a lot bigger than we expected. You'll definitely need SK's help traveling around. Here we go! We're super happy with the result, though, as there's a lot of side paths and entire hidden levels. If you want to fight the toughest bosses of the game, you will have to explore. Good luck.
Speaking of,
we've poured our hearts and souls into this game for the past 4 years. That's why we're delighted to announce that Expedition 33 launches on April 24th on Xbox Series X and S and is available day one with Xbox Game Pass. You can already wishlist the game and follow us for more info.
Right, between Monster Hunter Wilds, Avowed,
to the world of Expedition 33.
this will probably come up thereafter, depending on Doom.
It's our debut game, and we can't wait for you to discover our story, our world, and our take
This
on
up
the
the year
turn-based
quite
genre.
nicely, though.
On behalf of everyone at Sunfall, thank you for joining us. Tomorrow comes.
Demain viendra.
Tomorrow comes.
Demain viendra.
Demain viendra.
Tomorrow comes.
Such intense stares. Again, the more I see of that, the more eager. And I haven't played a big old JRPG for ages. But the biggest meat of the show, Medieval Doom. Oh, yep, here we go. Just stop bopping your head. You're shooting demons and you're running, you're jumping and you're... Love the last two.
Hello, and welcome to Dallas, Texas, home of id Software, where more than 30 years ago, a small team of game developers helped define and set a course for first-person shooters. A lot has changed since then, but our team is as passionate as ever.
Almost 10 years
and the
since
most important values at the core
big
of our
change of
games,
Doom.
innovation, craftsmanship, and performance remain a priority for us to this day.
Is
And as
meat
you're
the
about
key
to
word for
see,
Doom from Dark
those
Eyes in the
values
chat?
are infused in
Meaty,
every aspect
I'd
of
say.
this latest installment in the legendary Doom franchise. It is an honor to work on this game, to carry on id's tradition of creating all-out, groundbreaking levels of fun. So now, we're excited
I wonder
to
if they
share with
worked
you
out
a
the
look
mess
at
with the
our most
composer that
ambitious
got really
game yet.
litigious and not great.
This is Doom: The Dark Ages. That was so stupid I mouthed the words.
Just gotta let the music break into your soul. Guy's got a cape.
In Doom: The Dark Ages, you will feel like the superweapon in the center of a medieval war against hell. Set in a cinematic sci-fi fantasy world
OBS,
full
don't
of
spoil this.
locations to explore, powerful weapons to unlock, and enemies to conquer.
Ooh,
This is a
Spider
prequel
Demon.
to Doom 2016, and that's
Oh.
given us the opportunity to reimagine every aspect of this experience. So if you're new to the franchise, then Doom: The
So
Dark
by the end of
Ages
this
will be
game, you will be put
entry
into the
point
coffin
series.
you started in
And
the
if you're a
2016
longtime
game.
fan, then you'll be proud to see, in a lot of ways, the feel of the game is really a return to form. So let's break it down, starting with the combat.
You're still there in the chat. We're doing all right. OBS is just giving me like the
Doom
eyebrows in the
Eternal,
corner.
You felt like a fighter jet. In Doom: The Dark Ages, you'll be an iron tank. Heavy, strong, but still fast.
Good.
A grounded combat system with an emphasis on power over the acrobatics of Doom Eternal.
Okay, I'll take that. That's more my alley.
And a balance between enemy projectiles and player movement speed that makes strafing to aim viable again. Just like in the classic Doom games. But it's not all about
Eternal got
nostalgia.
pretty out of whack. I still
Innovation
enjoyed
is
it,
the
but it
goal,
got real out of
always.
whack.
And so for Doom: The Dark Ages, it's an all-new world with new tools and new mechanics to master.
Yes.
Let me introduce you to the Shield Saw.
Cheers, Dark Eyes.
Block. Throw. Parry. Deflect.
Oh my
All
goodness.
from one input. It's contextual. Tons of depth on a single button press.
Okay.
You know, we want every Doom game to stand on its own as a unique experience.
You need to keep
So
it snappy.
In 2016, we asked you to run and gun. In Doom Eternal, it was jump and shoot. And in Doom: The Dark Ages, you're gonna stand and fight.
No, that's singing to me. Absolutely, get me in. The iron tank batters forward.
And the shield saw will give you the strength to go head to head with some of the biggest, baddest demons we've ever created at id. But that's not all.
I'm gonna mess this
if you're
up.
gonna stand and fight, then you gotta have
And I
something
can't
to
wait.
follow up that opening parry with. How about an iron flail?
Sure.
Or maybe an electrified gauntlet. Or even a doom spiked mace. That's right, we have 3 melee options that are part of a melee system.
Yeah.
All on one input.
Well, I like
combos and
so
upgrades, and it's totally awesome.
it's fine.
And you can finish off the demons now with an all-new, unsynced, completely in the player's control glory kill system. From any angle, in and out, as you see fit. And it feels amazing.
I thought that's how it handled
You'll
in
feel
the
unstoppable, smashing
the
your way
last
through
one.
the board with total freedom.
Just faster now?
And that seems like a ton, but that's just 2 inputs. We got one more really important button that we haven't talked about yet.
Jump button.
The trigger.
You shoot. Love how that gun just chews
That's right,
up a
we
skull.
saved the
It's
best for
ridiculous.
last. Doom has and always will be all about the guns. And Dark Ages has some of the most ridiculously powerful weapons that we've ever created.
Excellent.
Mean. Ancient. Brutal torture machines built to butcher, impale.
Oh, we love a harpoon gun.
Of hell with. Only in Doom. That's the mission statement for the design of these never-before-seen, insanely fun-to-use tools of mayhem.
No chainsaw, I
Only the
noticed this
Slayer
time
has the
around.
power to wield. So let's take a look at some extended gameplay footage and see how these medieval mechanics synergize with the enemies and the environments to form the new combat loop for Doom: The Dark Ages.
Ridiculous backgrounds as ever. In Bash. There's your parry. Bye. The real shingy noise on that shield. Ooh. Grapple to it? It does, Dark Eyes. It does indeed appear to have a chainsaw on it. And an AoE shockwave. Looks like you can only deflect green shots this far. So it's not a catch-all. But get stuck in them.
And under the hood, for the first time in an id game, we've made our combat more approachable and flexible than ever before, with a new difficulty system and sliders that will allow players to tune the speed
Smallest
and challenge of the
parry
game
window.
to whatever fits them best. You can slow things down,
Self-loathing
or
difficulty.
speed them up. It's a Doom for all Slayers.
And the gameplay doesn't
Again, like
end with
Eternal, I'll
just the Slayer.
probably slap it on.
We
What was it?
finally have for
Ultraviolet
you. We've been
mode,
waiting
whatever
for
that
2
was.
games now to get in and pilot your very own 30-story Atlan, which is a mech.
I thought they did that in the DLC for Eternal, but I guess not.
Beat giant Titan-sized demons to death with your
Alright,
golden
let's
fist.
Pacific Rim
And if
all
that
over the
wasn't
place.
enough, we also have for you your very own fire-breathing Gatling
Ah.
gun-toting cybernetic dragon.
Forgot about that from the
Neither of
first
these are
trailer.
one-and-done features either. They have a full suite of abilities and even mini-bosses.
Suddenly playing Panzer
Spectacle is
Dragoon.
epic. The Power Fantasy is unlike anything we've made it in, and the combat systems behind these features are deep and tons of fun. And as cool as all that is, we know that fans of single-player action games expect more than just great combat to pull them through the experience. So we're excited to share with you not just the gunplay, but the world of Doom: The Dark Ages. Your hero's journey will take you to the far reaches of the Doom universe.
The story is what I'm more
Mysterious
curious
worlds from the
about.
Slayer's past,
Like,
dark
2016
forests,
Eternal,
dungeons,
2016
ancient
better.
hellscapes, battlefields,
It took itself
and worlds
seriously enough
and through
while
exploration,
being
you'll be unlocking new abilities.
just having the Doomslayer be like, screw all this. Like, important stuff's going on, but I am the Doom guy.
You're gonna cut, leap, and smash your way through environments full of secrets and treasures.
Like the sci-fi dude trying to give you
There's always
exposition, you
something
just
new
punch
waiting
the
to be
computer. It was
discovered
fantastic.
or destroyed. Now
Oh,
let's
yes,
take a
so many
closer
collectibles
look
to
at
miss.
just one of the many missions you'll experience in Doom: The Dark Ages. In this level, you will meet the enemy at the gates and save a city from certain destruction. Explore the medieval battlefield outside the castle walls, seeking out targets and enemy formations along the way to engage with as you see fit, with any gun you choose.
Chop off on those harpoons.
Explore what is the largest play space ever in a Doom game, discovering secret caves
Oh no.
and dungeon-like mines in search of vital resources.
You're gonna be
You
getting
control the pace
lost.
of the game. Where you go, who you fight,
Gonna mess up basic
and the
puzzles.
objectives you pursue.
But I can't wait
It's
for
a
it.
Doom sandbox full of war and riches. Once you've broken the enemy assault, head back to the main gates because the battle isn't over yet.
So they're coming out bigger.
And the soundtrack to your epic adventures will be composed by the award-winning team at Finishing Move, providing you with a metal
Okay, so
soundscape
not,
that's loaded with
I think
guitars,
it was Mick Gordon.
medieval vibes, and pure
Eternal still had a banging soundtrack, don't get me wrong.
expanding the legend of the Slayer with every mission you complete.
We'll have to see how it stacks up to 2016.
And speaking of that legend, the story of Doom: The Dark Ages, like everything else in the game, is big. It's a summer blockbuster event with everything on the line, and you are the star of the show. Your power is coveted by your enemies and withheld from your allies. With the Slayer imprisoned at the start of our story, the balance of power between good and evil is shifting, and time is running out. It's a new story and the perfect entry point for new players. It's easier to access now as we've taken the narrative out of the codex and into the cutscenes, featuring new characters, old allies, and powerful new villains. And for returning players,
Don't mind a bit
it
of
leads
codex,
directly
but
into
sure.
the Doom 2016 Slayer's Testaments. It's an action story worthy of the Slayer's legend.
He's got a cape. Remember that secret level show they did in Amazon?
We've
Microsoft
got
turned
10
down
years
a
of
Halo
making
versus
modern Doom
Doom
games together,
episode.
and we've done better with
Mind-boggling.
every game we've made.
The hope with all this, the goal, is to give players an experience that's as fun to play as it was to make, and make something that's good enough to become the best game id has ever made.
But that is for you to decide. When Doom: The Dark Ages releases,
Xbox lining them up very specifically. Right, it's all this year. Goodness me. Right, no surprises, Xbox. Also, Ninja Gaiden 2 available right now. Oh! That cat. Okay, we're just doing our happy reel at the end.
You will feel like the super weapon in the center of a medieval war against hell.
All of Hazel's powers are designed around textile crafting and spinning wheels. The combat system
Alright.
is built around chaining attacks and unraveling enemies.
Solid showcase of 4 games. Really cool to see Ninja Gaiden back as well, and Platinum to be involved. Unexpected. Still nothing on the new Fable as of yet. They've been more and more tight-lipped on that one. I don't think it's going to come out this year. Might show it off at Summer Games Fest. All with Game Pass, day one on Game Pass. If you're on the highest tier, I assume. Right. That's them wrapping up then. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take 10 minutes or so, and then we will get started up with Remnant 2's Boss Rush mode. See how we get in. So if you're going to be joining me over there, I look forward to seeing you in next 10 minutes or so. Otherwise, enjoyed yourself. Hit that like button.